States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Nice crowd for a rescheduled council meeting. That's good. Next, first item is to entertain a motion to approve the agenda as posted and sent to the news media 24 hours prior to the meeting.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Blandford, second by Ms. Griefy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. There was no council workshop this week due to the rescheduling of the council meeting. Public comment, we have none registered in advance. Do we have any public comments this evening? Not hearing any. We are going to move on. Public hearing, we have none. Old business, we have none. So we'll move on to the new stuff. First item on the new business is a request for a Bill Hiddle for Century Center 1 for permission to close South Federal from Highway 3 to First Avenue Southwest on October 9th. Mr. Hiddle.
Thank you, Mayor, Ron, Council. I'm here on behalf of the Jefferson Highway Military Vehicle Preservation Association Convoy. That's a lot. They are coming through. They have a 30-day trip on Jefferson Highway. It starts in Thief River Falls, Minnesota on October 1st and ends in New Orleans on October 28th. They currently have 40 vehicles registered. They will be stopping through Hampton on October 9th. And the American Legion and Veterans Affairs will be serving them coffee and donuts. My request is to close, as he said, Federal from Highway 3 down to First Avenue Southwest, right by the post office there. I have spoken with Susie at the library, and I have spoken with Mike at the post office, and neither one of them, they are okay with that. They are willing to work with it. Just 2 hours is all that I need, is a place to park all these military vehicles that are coming through. And so if there's any questions, I guess I'll answer them and you can make a decision. Yes, sir.
Are they going to have any like food truck or anything there? Or are
No.
they just going to?
Nope,
Okay.
it's just, they leave Mason City, the overnight stay in Mason City, and they're gonna leave there, they said, about 7 o'clock, and those vehicles, it'll take them about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes to get down to Hampton. And then we're just gonna have a quick, couple hours where the public can come see these old vehicles if they would like, and serve them some coffee and donuts, and then they're on their way.
I'd like to suggest another street. I think there's a lot of mail traffic, people going in and getting their mail. And I don't know if you could do First Street Northeast between the old jail and the Methodist Church. It's pretty wide there.
Right. They want to utilize Bandshell Park.
Or right behind the band shell, close that street. Other than Federal, because of the mail traffic.
Yeah, yep, no, I can be open to anything, and I can sure suggest it to them. They want to use Bandshell Park, and when we were looking at where people park for work, that is the only street that people don't park. I know there is a mail issue there, but it's only a couple hours, and you have First Avenue, and you can still get to the parking lot of the mailboxes and stuff from driving around the back of the building, so.
Yeah, I'd like to see that on First Avenue too. And then if people do want to park to tour the things, then they can park on Federal, or they can park on First, and then come around to it, go through the park. So I'd like to have people walk through our park to get to the back of that park for the vehicles. like Barry said.
Nice thing about that is there's a portable
Yeah,
restroom there.
Porta potties back there.
Yep,
And,
they just asked me to request it, so.
I'm just concerned about the mail traffic. People coming to get their mail.
Sure, I understand that.
And, you know, I don't agree with the postmaster, but it's, you know, it's his post office.
Oh, he's already got a parking spot.
Yeah,
If it's okay with you, I mean,
yeah, that's fine, I just
I'm
know
glad
they
they're using the band shell part.
that they want to use band shell and they want to be able to get into the Memorial Hall. And so that's why they originally suggested in front of Center One, and I said, too many people park there, I can't close that one down.
Yeah.
But I'll sure ask the council about in front of the library and in that area.
All right, so we have a update to use First Avenue Southwest from Federal to First Street, correct? So
So moved.
if that works for you, we'll entertain a motion to close that one street for the hours of 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. that day.
So moved.
Palmer, motion by Mr. Palmer.
I'll second, but I have one more question. So are you gonna barricade it the night before or early in the morning?
My plan was to hopefully about 7:30 or so close it off before people started coming into work.
I'm concerned about the people that do use that street for parking for employment. All of them that work over by Center One all park over there.
That's
There's no other
exactly
place for
right.
them to go.
Yeah, there's about 10 cars that usually park there during the day. So,
I think we're gonna get some flack if we close Federal.
But we do have that south entrance to the post office.
It's only for 2 hours, so it would be,
So if you come down First Avenue, it's gonna be blocked off. How are you gonna turn around if you're getting your mail?
Well, First Avenue
Why
will be
couldn't you
will be
continue down
open.
to First
First Avenue
Street
will
and
be
pull out
open.
Yeah, so
there?
they
Yeah,
can.
you can just
they
turn-
can park on First
You're gonna
Turn
Avenue.
have
right there.
that intersection open?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't need to close any intersections. I just need a place.
I'd still rather see First Avenue behind the band shell.
Because the bathrooms are there too, porta potties.
But, yeah, that's not a very nice view. The back of the band shell and the porta potties. It would be nicer along the park.
I think it would get bit more visibility from traffic going by for people seeing it if it was along that east side. Because if it's on the back side, people be like, well, I didn't even know there was anything going on. Well, if they see it, they can go down to the next block or go to the stoplight, turn around and come back, and they can park anywhere on the back side of the band shell.
I like the original plan the best.
I mean, it's just for 2 hours. I mean, we've got street closures that are for that, and
Normally, it's on a weekend where you have,
So we have a motion and a second to close Federal, or First Avenue from Federal to First Street Southwest. So with that motion, we'll set that to a vote.
And I would just say, Mayor, you can break a tie on anything that's not a resolution or an ordinance, or, so,
So you can be blamed for this one.
yeah.
Okay, no worries. So all in favor of closing First Avenue from Federal to First Street Southwest?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
aye.
All right. So, I'm gonna break that tie by voting nay. I like the original plan the best for visibility. So on that one, we would, let's motion, I need a motion to approve the request to close South Federal from Highway 3 to First Avenue Southwest.
So moved.
Second it.
Motion by Mr. Blanford, second by Ms. Griefy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And aye for the, in favor as well, approval, yes. So the motion carries to the original request.
All
All right? Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot,
Bill.
Bill.
All right, next item up, we got the September of '24 image of Pride. Consider awarding that to Fabian, and is that Anomi? I'll get it right. Ramirez for the for the property located at 803 3rd Avenue Southeast. This was actually anonymous submission for the image prive. The Ramirez's have kept this property up really nice. The property was assessed at $58,100 back in 2016. Since then, various improvements have made, siding, windows, interiors, and a new 2-stall garage that was erected on the property. The current assessed value of the property is $136,100. It's just as an example of property that has made improvements and is also contributed to our tax base as a city. So it's a very well kept board. I know that neighborhood really well. I delivered baseball papers there when I was a little boy on a bicycle. So at this point, we would entertain a motion to award the September 24 emission prize to Mr. and Mrs. Ramirez. Got it. For the property located at 803 3rd Avenue Southeast.
I'll make a motion to approve Ramirez property for the image of Pride for September.
Got a motion by Mr. Lamos,
Second.
second by Mr. Palmer.
Who was the person who submitted it? I mean, which council person was the award?
It was my choice and
Oh, okay.
I passed.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't have time.
Okay, all right.
I kind of forgot about it, and then when I got the notice, I just said,
Yeah.
let someone else pick.
Sure.
And I think we picked a pretty nice
I think so
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I think so too.
for that. So,
Helps to have before and after picture.
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Who seconded?
I did.
Second with Mr. Palmer. So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Come on up, get your picture taken. And there's chamber bucks in there for it. Sign that.
You live there too, Jen?
Huh?
You live there too?
No, I need a picture.
Oh, okay. Fit into that gift card.
Yeah. How you doing?
I was gonna say the same thing. Are you coming in?
Perfect, okay.
All right, thank you, and here's some chamber bucks for you.
Okay.
So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right, moving on. Next item is approve the claims. I need a motion to approve the claims as submitted in the by staff in the amount of $177,336.27.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Blanford,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Lamos. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item we have got some resolutions to take care of tonight. First one is Resolution 2024-26. This is a resolution approving fiscal year 24 transfer of funds. Mr. Dunt.
Thank you. This is Resolution 2024-26, a resolution approving fiscal year 24 transfer of funds. So we ended fiscal year 24 on June 30th, and so these are actual numbers from transfers that took place in fiscal year 24. And the next, just as a note, the next resolution is for budgeted transfers that will happen in the fiscal year 25. And so, Section 1, City Clerk authorized to make the following budgeted transfers from the general fund: $35,000 to employee benefits to reduce property taxes, $88,000 to Hampton Public Library for operations, $59,500 to capital projects for the FAA Airport runway rehab design. Section 2, local option sales tax split, $26,683.33 to police vehicle reserve fund, $106,733.29 to the fire truck reserve fund, and the same amount to the park reserve fund, and $293,516.48 to the reserve fund for roads, which we call the 55% fund. Section 3, $240,200 from the TIF fund to debt service fund for principal and interest on bond payment, and then $40,000 from pool and park reserve fund to pool fund 002 for pool operations and expenses. And number 5, $85,257.87 from to the capital project street fund for HMA overlay project, and $50,000 to the economic development fund for the pharmacy gap shortfall for the state grant. And 6, transfer $200,000 from the gas electric franchise fee fund to capital project for street project for HMA overlay. And number 7, transfer $363,048.77 from the sewer fund to the sewer sinking fund for sewer revenue bond principal and interest payments. And finally, number 8, transfer $33,000 from the emergency fund to general fund for the emergency levy. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Dunt? Hearing none, I enter.
Do we always do this time of year, don't we?
Well,
I mean, I'm used to like May and June.
so this resolution didn't get approved in the last fiscal year, and so we're doing it retroactively. Yeah, it should have been done last fiscal year.
Okay.
Didn't get done, we have to have it done, so it's
So-
being done now.
The 240,200, what's the TIF fund? What?
That's
is
where
that-
we collect TIF
I mean,
revenues
right,
to
but
pay the Highway
is that,
65.
that's for the Highway 65
Yes.
project?
Yep.
What's the balance of that?
It's paid off now.
Okay,
That was the last payment.
okay. I guess, some of these other balances, could you give us?
These
like-
aren't balances.
Okay,
These are
so like,
transfers of funds.
so what's the balance of the fire truck reserve?
I'd have to look that up. I'm guessing it's maybe 90,000.
Okay. And then the police reserve, that's just going towards another new vehicle?
Yes, correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
And the 35,000 to employee benefit, that's because we self-insure.
Yeah, that pays for employee health insurance and other benefits, yeah.
All right, any other questions for Mr. Dunt? If not, we would entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2024-26-26.
So moved.
Got a motion by Ms. Griefy. Second, was that by Kevin?
Yep.
Mr. Blanford? This be a roll call vote. Ms. Griefy?
Aye.
Mr. Palmer?
Aye.
Mr. Lamos?
Aye.
Mr. Blanford?
Aye.
I'll note that Mr. Davies and Mr. Hodge are absent this evening, so resolution is passed. Thank you. Next one would be Resolution 2024-27, resolution authorizing fund transfers for the fiscal year 2024-25. Mr. Dunt.
Thank you. Whereas Iowa Administrative Code, Sections 545-2.1 through 2.5 address city budget amendments and fund transfers. Whereas the same section requires that all transfers of money between funds in the city must be approved by a fund transfer resolution of the city council as defined in Section 545-2.1 to allow for transfers between funds. City clerk has presented the list of each transfer to be completed in the fiscal year 2025 on Exhibit A, second page. Incorporated herein, which includes a clear statement of the reason for purpose for the transfer, the name of the fund from which transfer is originating, and the name of the fund from which the transfer is to be received, the dollar amount to be transferred. Whereas the transfers must be approved, completed in accordance with 545-2.5. Now therefore be it resolved, the City Council as follows. The fund transfers listed as described in Exhibit A in the fiscal year 2025 are hereby approved. City Clerk is hereby authorized and direct to complete the approved fund transfers. So this list, as I said, are budgeted amounts, so subject to change because we don't know what the actual local option sales tax revenue will be. So this is basically our best estimates on, and as well as the gas and electric franchise. So, do you want me to go through each and every one? Okay. Okay. Any questions?
Nope.
Okay.
Not hearing any, not hearing none. I'd entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2024-27.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-27.
A motion by Mr. Lamos,
I'll second it.
second by Ms. Griefy. Again, this also be a roll call vote. Mr. Blanford,
Aye.
Mr. Lamos,
Aye.
Ms. Griefy,
Aye.
Mr. Palmer.
Aye.
Again, note, Mr. Davies and Hodge are absent. So resolution is passed. Thank you. Next up is the consent agenda. This to approve the previous minutes as drafted by the Thursday, August 22nd, 2024 regular session. Second, schedule the next regular session for Thursday, September 26th, 2024 at 6 p.m. at the city, in the Tempe City Council chambers. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Palmer,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Lamos. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Brings us to our staff reports. Chief Morrison.
Yeah, we've had a busy couple of weeks. I've been researching a variety of dog-related ordinances. I think some of the takeaways I took from the last meeting were the tethering and microchipping. I should have those ready for you to look at the next workshop. We've been working on vicious dog ordinance updates, and that will be in front of you, I believe, on the next workshop. We have been working on the noise ordinance, and that will be in front of you at the next workshop too, I believe. Officers have continued to send out nuisance notices. We had 2 citations go out this week. As you know, we had a string of burglaries and vandalisms last weekend. Officers conducted 2 search warrants, and that led to the arrest of 2 juveniles. Again, I'd like to remind people to lock your vehicles and or take out your valuables out of there. That would sure help us. Officers conducted a narcotic search warrant, which led to the arrest of 4 individuals, and more charges are pending on that case. We also worked on the flower planters at Bandshell were knocked over, and the new water lines were pulled out as a result of that. Caused about $1,700 damage. 3 juveniles were responsible for that, and 2 have been charged. We're still working on the 3rd. And then the last thing I had was the car show, and ride went well, and at least on our half of the event, there was good communication, and it was well put together. So we thank Jeff Spear for that. I think that's all I got, unless there's questions.
Questions, Mr. Blanford?
I had a couple people say something about the concerns on the pickup and drop-off there at Southside. How has that been going?
I haven't heard anything about the pickup and drop-off at Southside. We've talked to, his name? Danny Shipper about that, and the superintendent. We've met him up there. We've met him at Southside and Northside. There was some initial complaints about they've been putting cones out alongside of the road to keep the cars from parking there. Some people are saying they're not parking there, they're just driving slowly there, waiting for their next spot to turn in. So they moved, they put those cones in there to prevent people from parking so the buses can get in and out of that new
Yep.
parking lot. But the problem became is nobody, I think they missed whose responsibility was to remove the cones at the end of the day. So then the homeowners had no place to park if they had guests over. So, but they've since removed the cones daily at night. But I haven't heard anything
Yeah.
further since
I just
then.
figured it'd take a couple weeks to everybody get used to the process of the
Yeah.
pickup and drop-off. So I was just curious on how that was going, so thank you.
Mr. Palmer?
Yep. I got tagged on Facebook today about an issue about somebody wanting to put up a tent in Hampton. I don't know if it was for camping, like a sleepover tent, or if it was like somebody's gonna bring a circus to town, or what they're gonna sell T-shirts, or what they're gonna do.
Yeah, we've been going over that last couple of days about camping inside the city limits of Hampton. And as far as the police department goes, camping in like a camper you can't do for more than 7 days without the permission of the police chief. We did research those, and then we did look up, I think Public Works Director Doug Tarr can help you a little bit more on the ordinances he found as far as building and zoning goes.
For a tent?
For a tent. There are some rules in building and zoning.
Okay, all right. And then, had to kind of set somebody straight on these signs that were put up, and I will name names. It's for the Geneva Market,
Yep,
and they got excited.
yes.
And, you can't put them in the state right away.
They can't be in the cities right
cities
away,
right
the
away.
state DOTs right away. All we have asked, and it's push some buttons, is to put them on the other side of the sidewalk or where the sidewalk would be. But yes, that has upset them.
And so with that, I now have 2 signs in my yard. Because I said, well, put them in my yard then. And so they fulfilled my wish. So I have 2 signs for the Geneva Market in my yard. If you're gonna go, tell them I sent you. Tell them
and
you
they-
saw the sign in my
They
yard.
feel like they're the only ones being targeted on that, and that's not true. Others have been. We have several other signs in the police department now, so,
And it's just, it's, last year it was really, I think last year was a bigger issue than it was this year. But, because I think last year it was brought up at least 3 meetings here about these signs.
and typically, it's been at Prowley's Car Wash and Fairway, where it blocks the view of the motorists trying to get out onto the highway. And Fairway is already complicated with
Mhm.
Quick Star, and so it's just best that they be
Right,
back
so-
further.
Anyway, so okay, well, I'll ask Doug about the tents then. Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Any
And I
further-
had,
Mr. Creepy?
someone, I'm sorry, I had someone
That's all right.
approach me about the generator noise.
The,
And said We
I,
are working on that, but the officer that responded to that,
we have taken care of that.
unaware, okay,
They're gonna plug it back in.
okay,
They are not gonna use a generator again.
okay, wonderful, thank
So
you.
that should be done. So hopefully that's
Okay.
over.
Thanks.
I had one item for you. How the yard sale signs going with the Highway Faith? I didn't have to drive around
Yeah.
and pick them up and take them to people's houses, so I'm guessing it went.
Most of them there was a few taken down, but we kind of let them be in the areas they're supposed to be during the day hours when they were open.
Right.
But then at night, we went through and
Okay,
got rid of them.
all right.
There's a pretty pink one up at the Ben Show Park,
Still there?
yeah. Well, it was,
Oh, okay. I
This
was
morning
gonna
when
say,
I
they went
went by.
through and
okay,
they might have missed it, but
All right. All right.
it shouldn't still be there because we've been there like 3 or 4 times,
okay.
especially if
Thank
it's
you.
pink.
Thanks for
Pink,
that.
yeah, pink.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tar?
Thank you, Mayor. As you guys are aware, there's a lot of organized chaos going on in town. Every corner you turn around, seems like there's some construction going on. That's a good thing. We're at construction season. First off, the water main project is hot and heavy underway. We held a public informational meeting for folks that live in the vicinities of the areas that are going to have shutdowns and may incur a little bit of water interruption. And that went very well. We had a pretty good turnout. The boring at 6th Street Northeast is completed. The water main's in, the new hydrant's installed, the valves are installed. So basically, all that's left already for that segment is the testing and restoration for 7th Avenue. So that's good. They're moving right along. The boring commenced on 5th Street Southwest earlier today, and I believe they got their cable through, which means then tomorrow they'll be putting the pipe in. I'm anticipating that project will probably be completed mid next week sometime because we have to send in water samples to make sure everything's safe before we put online. But that's going extremely well. 12th Avenue is going to be the lengthier one. There's a lot more tie-ins to deal with on that, but everything's moving right along nicely. Attended a high school project pre-construction meeting. I was invited to that so we could talk about inspections and different things of that nature up there at that project, but we're also collaborating that project with our water main project because we're really trying to, there's going to be some water interruption. We're trying to cut down on the amount of that, so we're trying to collaborate with that project because they also have to do some water repairs that may require a shutdown. So we want to try to do that at the same time, so to speak, if we can, to the best of our ability, so as not to create too many hardships for folks. 14 and 16 Central Avenue West, the facade phase of that project's completed if you've driven by there. All that's left is to get some painting done on the alley side and the second story side on the west side. Met with the county on Quail Avenue, which is out where our new wastewater treatment facility is, or newer wastewater treatment facility. They were utilizing an experimental secondary gravel recondition project. Basically, it's a additive they put into they windrow all the gravel, they put some chemical on there, and then they reshape it and respread it out and tamp it down a little bit. The reason we're interested in that is because we believe that it's very possible, if it works the way it's stated, that we could utilize that possibly on Federal Street South to help out with some of the issues we've had there historically. So we're going to keep an eye on that, see how it winters this year and how it weathers, and in hopes that it is a viable option for us, to spend some money on that. Also, along those lines, been communicating with Denco Company. which is in the process of doing a scrub seal road restoration project on S56 out in the county. The reason we're interested in that is because this appears to be a potential application for maintaining Imperial Road in the industrial park, possibly. So we're going to just kind of keep an eye on that project, see how that goes, and to see what that is. I've invited Denko to come and present to City Council probably in November, December sometime when we're getting ready to do budget, kind of see what a project cost would look like for Imperial Road possibly. Once again, a reminder that signage in the state's right-of-way is not permitted. You guys covered that. That's great. I met with REC at Bandshell to discuss their plans for their arch upgrades. They they brought to the table a plan that is kind of right what I was thinking, whereas I think they're going to add some basically some sonotubes and some frost footings under each part of the arch, each leg of the arch, and then they're just going to install that. That way they can get rid of the cable guidelines on each end in those supports, and then they're going to beef up the support brackets a little bit. So I think that's a great option. That was kind of what I was already thinking of along those lines when they were at the last meeting as a good permanent fix for these. I had 2 hearings today that were scheduled, one in district court pertaining to 25 6th Street Southwest. That process is moving forward very well on the 657A. The second hearing was regarding 414 2nd Street Southeast, which is the property owner had abated their issues. They pled guilty and agreed to pay court costs and fees on that. And then, of course, the street project's in full swing. Storm sewer work is moving along very rapidly right now, and they're doing a good job. Obviously, behind that will come some flat work and some curb and gutter replacement portion of that project. And then, of course, they'll finish off with the overlays that we had scheduled. And then the next thing is a pool painting project also coming up to commence probably the next couple of weeks as well, as that's closed for the season, and we're getting ready to get that project done. So we got project. Any questions or concerns?
Mr. Palmer?
Yeah, the tent situation.
Absolutely. So the last couple of days, there had been some people residing in a tent in someone's backyard. You know, Mark and I discussed that a little bit. There is some verbiage in the code pertaining to camping and campers, but that's not a tent, right? However, Ron had actually pointed out this morning too that there is a section in the zoning ordinance that does not allow for this. Under the definition of a dwelling, where you have to live, and that's where people stay, is in a dwelling, and tents are excluded, and specifically. So you cannot live in a tent in someone's backyard in our community in a residential zoning district.
So when you say live in, that's different than mom and dad gonna go out with a kid?
Absolutely.
Couple
The
nights?
kids- Yeah, kids want to camp in the backyard a couple nights. I don't know why
But this
that's
is
gotta
more
be an issue.
establishing a residency.
That's right.
Type, okay.
Correct, yeah.
What, how many days would you call that, or would you just case by case, or?
I think it's gonna have to be case by case, and then, you know, yeah, I think it'll be officer discretion on
Yeah,
that.
it was so nice, because whoever brought this up has blocked me on Facebook, but then I got tagged in it, and somebody sent it to me, so I said, okay, well, I'll ask, so.
Right, well, and actually, it got handled already this morning. The notice went out, and it was served this morning, and by afternoon, I got a call from the property owner, and once I explained things to them, they understood, and they moved forward.
Oh,
So
that
they
doesn't
said
stop.
it should be gone by, they got 24 hours to get it out of there, and if it's not out of there by tomorrow, then we'll go ahead and issue municipal infraction to the property owner.
A good explanation never satisfies somebody mad on Facebook.
True story, yes, social media is difficult at best.
So, anyway, glad you got it taken care of, and I can mark it off the list.
I hope so, we'll see tomorrow.
So, yeah.
Earlier this year, you talked about having a meeting with the state, and I was curious, have you done that?
As far as
to
the
ask
traffic
questions
lights?
about fixing Highway 65 South and the traffic lights?
I've had a couple of conversations with one of the local guys, but nothing that I would say is, what I mean by locals, Mason City. Mike Frank, I had a brief discussion with him, but I have not talked to one of the engineers up there or anything to see where they're at with their plan. They have a meeting every winter. That's called the 5-year plan for the DOT. So I'll plan on attending that this year, and that's a good time to communicate with those guys too. So hopefully I can get to that one.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for Mr. Tar? I'll see. Thank you, Mr. Tar.
Thank you.
Mr. Dunt.
Thank you. At prior meetings, I was talking about the grant application for the Iowa Rural Housing Assessment Program, and I did submit that grant. Mary at FCDA assisted with compiling some letters of support from local organizations and nonprofits. So that has been submitted. ISG, the engineering firm who is assessing the old pharmacy buildings, waiting for a report from them. So I don't have an update other than we're waiting for a report from them. Doug mentioned the water projects. They're going well, and I can attest to the one. I live in the neighborhood, not right on the street where this water main, but in the neighborhood of the one at 6th Street Northeast. Traffic flowed smoothly, very little impact on traffic, and very little impact on water interruptions. I think it was one day for an hour and a half, and that was it. There might be more coming after they get done testing, I'm not sure, but I think that the public informational meeting that was held, that Doug suggested to the engineer and that happened, was very informative, and I don't know, I think was it supposed to start at 5 or, and I mean, people came early and we were flooded early. This room had a lot of people in it early, and so it was good to have that, very informative, and I think that helped answer a lot of questions. People were kind of jumping to some conclusions, thinking they're going to be without water for a couple weeks, and so put their minds at ease. Anyway, that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
Yeah, I got a question on the debt. What was the original amount for the TIF on Highway 65? 3 million?
Yeah, 3.5 maybe.
Okay, so right now, our only debt is the sewer plant and our upgrades to the water plant.
Yes.
So off the top of your head, how much is that?
Sewer plant, probably 5 million. Water plant, of course, we haven't really incurred any yet, but, you know, that'll probably be 1.5 million.
Okay,
And those are revenue debts.
okay, yeah,
Those aren't paid back with property tax.
right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Mr. Dunt? Thank you. Council reports. Mr. Davies? Okay, we'll go with Blanford.
I just wanted to thank Jeff and Tracy. Had a lot of good feedback from people that I talked to on the car show. It went really good, great turnout. They cleaned up after themselves. It's kind of nice that we've got that park there to utilize for everybody. Having it where they could kind of block that off for everybody to have show off their cars and stuff. So it was a great turnout. So kudos to them guys for putting in all the legwork for that. So thanks, Jeff and Tracy.
Thank you. Mr. Blamos?
I'd like to give Bill a pat on the back. I think he's done an excellent job for promoting the community with different functions and things, and I think this military convoy, yeah, is going to be a great deal. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Palmer?
Yep, Bill, great job. Next, we need RVTV here. Get Channel 13 up here. Yeah, so anyway, well, we're too far away, but it'd be nice. Anyway, Webster City's had them twice, for God's sakes. You know. But anyway, had somebody the other day complain about the city streets because it was tough to ride their bike on it. And I said, well, we've got a nice bike trail around Hampton. Well, it didn't go here and it didn't go there. And, I said, we're really trying on these streets. And I said, for the money, we can't fix a whole lot every year. And so I said, you just got to pick the better streets or ride the bike trails. So anyway, that was that. I also informed her that her bike didn't need to be licensed. And so I said that doesn't need to go into the road use tax fund. There's no collection of anything on that for her to ride her bike around. So anyway, hopefully she figured that out or just ignored me. But anyway, hopefully she'll use the bike trails a little bit more because they're nice and they're smooth. I've also when I visit different towns, I kind of look at different things and saw a couple different styles of street sweepers out there. I know that we really need one, and I really think that we almost need to get serious about it. If we want to get all these new streets out there, as little as we can do at a time, then get the debris picked up off of them too, and start really kind of shopping around and putting pen to paper and just figuring out where we're at on this. And I think our last street sweeper that we got, I think was Cassie was here, I think. I was here, I think Barry was here too. And that's been 20-some years ago. So I know they go through wear and tear and whatever. I would maybe like to see at the next workshop, I know we got a big schedule for the next workshop, and maybe we could put her at the top of the list so she can go first and get out of here, would be the pool manager. I kind of want a summary of how the summer went. When I don't hear anything from the pool, that's good. Last year we had this whole debacle with the lifeguard situation and this and that, so I didn't hear one complaint about the pool all year, and that's a good thing, when you have that. That would be on September 23rd. That would be that next workshop, I believe. And then the 18th through the 20th is League of Cities. Usually I bring my information here and tell you what classes I'm going to. I'll just put it on Facebook anyway, and people can shoot holes in that. But anyway, trying to get to a variety of different classes for League of Cities. I think they've got some good ones there this year, so I'll try and hit the high points, and also kind of talk to some other people about some other different things, and maybe even ask people how they like their street sweeper. So,
Yeah, go ahead.
Just Patrick.
Yeah.
Doug and I met with a street sweeper
Oh, okay.
company yesterday. We sat right here and we looked through different options.
good.
And just want to let you know that.
Okay.
And then the pool manager update. Hopefully it'll be okay if we put that off to
Oh, sure.
an October workshop, because our agenda for September 23rd is
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long workshop,
Yeah.
but we'll get her here.
Not a problem. But
Yeah, yeah.
again, I never heard complaint one
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
pool.
Yeah, things went well.
And that's just fantastic. So anyway, looking forward to the League of Cities and all that entails, so. Who's all going? Barry?
Kevin, Tim, you
Barry?
too.
Okay. Bill or Jim?
No.
Nope.
Okay, all right.
All right.
That's my vacation.
There you go. All right, good enough.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Ms. Griefy.
I watered flowers for the last time,
Oh.
and Jim Davies stepped up and helped me with that, and I appreciate that. My driving didn't get any better with the gator, but hey,
You should probably practice a little more.
so yeah, we didn't get any better. I did a walkabout with Main Street, Iowa, and when they were here. Quarterly coffee is tomorrow. I hope people can attend that. And I did address a concern brought to me by a citizen in my ward about the compost site. And it was a Saturday night, and I called Doug Tarr and I called Mayor Birdsell, and they both called me back and answered my concerns and my questions, and I forwarded them on to that citizen. And thank you so much for your response.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on. I got a really short mayor's report for you. First thing I want to mention is summer is drawing to a close. It's going away, and Christmas will be here soon, so start getting your shopping done if you want to get me something nice. Compost tail, just to kind of tag along with Jerry. Use it as it's intended. I know we've had some issues here and there with that, and especially with the larger the logs. You know, you can take up to an 8-inch log, And if it's anything more than that, then probably the best bet is to call contact Mr. Dar and work out a program for them. So, I think the only last thing I got is I got acorns in my yards coming up my ears. So if anybody needs acorns, just come on over. I'll take as many as you want. I won't have to take them to the compost and be taken care of. So that's all I got. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Ms. Griefy, motion, second, Mr. Palmer, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned, thank you.
Terry, I think our church is gonna be